Hello, and welcome to the Love Your Work Life podcast. I'm your host, Elissa Shuck. Whether you're going for that next promotion, looking for a job, or making a career pivot, I'll teach you how to navigate it all so you can have the career you want. Welcome to Love Your Work Life, episode 119. I've been having some deep thoughts, my friends, and actually even for this episode, I had to do some research. Because as I've mentioned before, I am not science-y. I took some science, of course, going through your education, you must, but I don't know a lot, but I do know enough. And from the research I did for this week, I'm super excited about the implications of how nature and our connection with it actually can inform the success we have in our careers, the way we can enjoy work, love our work lives, as the title of this podcast suggests. And I want to explore that with you a bit today. All of this started because I was enjoying the tree outside my office window, and it's a fairly young tree, so I've seen it grow up, so to speak, from, needing the little brace things on the sides to hold it up to now where it can stand on its own, and the seasons that it goes through, leaves dropping off in the fall, sprouting again in the spring. And it occurred to me, this tree can't get it wrong. It's actually impossible for this tree to get it wrong. It's going to do its thing. It's going to go through its seasons. It's going to continue to expand, get bigger, healthier, and more stable. And I wondered about us. We are actually made of the same stuff as that tree. Carbon-based life forms. That is what we all are here on this planet. So at some level, we are connected. There is a level where we could actually tap in to the same cycles of renewal, the same cycles of letting things go and growing up. So it fascinated me, and because I'm not very sciencey, I never took chemistry over the course of my education, loved math, but never moved into chemistry. So I did a little research about what is it? Why are we carbon-based life forms? And why is carbon the basis of life? And what does that mean for us as humans living and working and trying to experience good things in our careers and in our lives? And I found out some super interesting things about carbon. And the reason carbon is the basis of life comes down to three things, according to the scientist who I tapped into for this. This is what's been determined as to why carbon is the basis of life. All life, humans, nature, whatever. It comes down to three things: complexity, abundance, and stability. And as soon as I even just heard those three words, without even going into the why of those three words, I had an aha moment. Because this is us as humans. This is our capacity. We have the capacity for complexity. We can do hard things. We can figure things out. We can manage a lot simultaneously. Abundance. Wow. Nature just shows us abundance. And we have the same ability to create abundance. And then stability. Life doesn't feel stable all the time. But my friends, if the nature of us, the building blocks of us as carbon-based life forms, stability is inherent in that, that should give us pause in the best possible way. Because stability is part of who we are. So when we feel like life is going crazy, work is going crazy, and we're dealing with all kinds of toxicity and negative situations, at our core, we are stable. Man, that gives me hope when things feel a little out of whack. I can't run away from stability. I can't get away from stability because its very essence is built in to me, you, as a carbon-based life form. The reason that carbon is a basis of our life when it comes to complexity is because it can form the maximum number of bonds. I love that. Because it means that we can express a capacity for lots of bonds, lots of ways that we can connect. Lots of bonds translates into lots of possibilities. When I review the personal dynamics report with my clients, one of the reasons I really love it is because it describes people in terms of their innate behavioral strengths, how they're wired as a person, what makes them tick. And it doesn't compartmentalize them into career buckets. What it really does is create a deeper understanding of, oh my gosh, this is who I am, and it's full of possibilities. There are lots of opportunities where your strengths and how you're wired as a person can be in play. There's a maximum number of bonds, of choices that you can bond with, that you can connect to, that will allow you to use your strengths on a daily basis. And by doing that, enjoy success, enjoy happiness, and perform at a really high level. So cool. The next one, when it comes to complexity, is that carbon, as an element, is very versatile. Again, the versatility that we can experience as humans is written in what we're made up of. The other piece of complexity that really stood out to me is that there are millions of possible combinations in the ways carbon can bond with the other elements. Wow, that just shows up big time when we look at the complexity of nature. What does that mean for us? Just like I mentioned earlier with the personal dynamics report, it means that there are infinite possibilities for you, that you don't have to feel stuck. Feeling stuck is actually contrary to your nature. Wrap our brains around that one. Our nature is to have millions of possibilities, millions of possible combinations. So when we feel stuck, we are acting contrary to our nature. And I'm not saying that we're never going to feel stuck. But what I'm saying is the reality is is that we're actually not stuck. It's a story that we're telling ourselves because it's not in our nature to be stuck. Okay, awesome. Now, abundance. The abundance component of carbon, as it works in our nature, is tied to this, that 4 out of the 5 elements that make up the solar system are the same 4 out of 5 in us as humans. We are part of the universe. We have vast abundance available to us. And when we get a hold of that, it tells us that scarcity is not the norm. Abundance is very evident to us. Watch some of those nature documentaries, my friends. That ought to give us hope that the abundance that exists in nature is also available to us. This is part of our DNA. Abundance actually is written in the foundations of who we are, in the organic chemistry of who we are. Now let's go to stability. Carbon is the lightest element. Carbon is stable because its molecules are closer to the nucleus, and it is able to form strong single bonds with itself. When you are able to find validation within yourself, that's why it feels stable. When you're seeking validation and your worth and all of the other things from outside yourself, your stability is based on the whims of other people. How do you survive a toxic workplace until you can manage to get out? By forming that strong bond with yourself, about realizing that no, you are not the one going crazy. You're working in a place, and I love how someone put it the other day. You are working in a place where big roles are being done by small people. With that recognition alone, I hope that you can find that moment within yourself that no, you are not the one that's losing it. You're just in an ecosystem of small people trying to do big things. So we must ask ourselves, why does nature work? It works because of its complexity, abundance, and stability. And the fact that we have this in common with nature as a whole, and nature can't get it wrong, it just works. It got me thinking about my career path and how everything, even in the most difficult moments, there was always something at work making all of those things work together for my good. How is it that we can look back and see how everything actually worked out? How the time I got demoted moved me to a different state with a different team, with different opportunities, and led me to leaving the company, getting a job with an organization, with a brand that I absolutely loved, which in turn ultimately got shut down by the parent company, which gave me the opportunity to start a company. My goodness, it all works. And there's tons more examples that I could share with you. And I know you have those examples in your life too. This is my encouragement to you, to look at your career as a story that actually works out. Of course, there's drama in the story. That's what makes it interesting. We love a good story. We love the underdog who overcomes, and it all works out in the end. This is you. This is the life we're all living. It's all going to work out. We have tons and tons of evidence that it does. What if we could decide that it's impossible to get it wrong as we look forward? Wouldn't that take a ton of pressure off? Wouldn't that keep you from striving and striving and striving and just being more in tune with the flow of things? What if it made the discomfort feel even more temporary? Because we know it is. But boy, we're in the middle of it. It sure doesn't feel temporary. But if we could take the thought that it's impossible to get this wrong, that I am made up of the same stuff of trees and flowers and birds, a natural order that can't get it wrong, that could feel so much better. I'm not going to say that there isn't disorder out there. Yes, my friends, things have been hijacked in a way that isn't helpful. But what do we know about the times and the situations that have been hijacked? What is the one common denominator? Fear. Fear causes us to get stuck. Fear causes us to question. Fear takes us out of the flow. Fear puts us in a scarcity mindset instead of an abundance mindset. Fear causes us to react instead of be responsive and responsible. So you might be asking, as my husband did, when I was sharing all my excitement about carbon-based life forms and the chemistry and all that with him, he looked at me and he said, "How does this help you get a job?" So how does this help you get a job? How does this help you make your career move? How does this help you navigate the middle ground that you're living as a middle manager and all of the stuff that's going on between your team and their needs and upper management and their needs and demands and all of that stuff? How does this help you love your work life? Here's how. The carbon-based life forms in nature are made up of the right stuff to overcome adversity, to make it through hard times, to deal with man-made disasters, and find a way to get through it. If nature can do it, so can you, my friend. You are made up of the right stuff to leverage complexity to your advantage, to experience the abundance that's just the natural order of things, and to find stability and the strong single bonds with yourself. The characteristics of carbon and the millions of possible combinations that it allows for is a reminder that it's in our nature to have possibilities in front of us, that the job you want is actually available to you. You don't have to question your value, worthiness, or anything else, because you're part of a system. You're part of universal laws of nature that make you the right stuff. And the implications for that are, you can also find a way. You can overcome the man-made distractions and adversity, disasters, and stuff that's going on. If it's possible for nature to overcome and impossible for nature to get it wrong, it's possible for you to overcome and impossible for you to get it wrong. What are you as the unique, one-of-a-kind, no other one of you in existence, carbon-based life form desiring for your future? start to believe it's possible for you. Move towards it as effortlessly as the tree outside my window is doing, day by day, season by season. All right, my friends, you've got this. I'll talk to you again next time. If you like this podcast, I invite you to visit the Love Your Work Life website at elissashuck-careercoach.com. On the site, you'll find all the information you need to work with me one-on-one, as well as get access to my courses, Job Search Field Guide, and The Art of Stellar Interviews. I can't wait to help. I look forward to seeing you there.